Assalamu alaikum. 30 years ago, in Brighton, England, at the University of Sussex, more specifically at the School of Cognitive and Computing Sciences, I was studying for my PhD in computer science and AI. The photo here is for my daughter Muna, who I missed some of her childhood moments because of staying in the lab. I loved those labs because I was surrounded by diligent groups of researchers from different fields, such as linguistics, psychology, and of course, computer science. We all worked together in a collaborative manner to make sure that we do our own part in advancing the cause of AI. Back then, 3 decades ago, I could never imagine that here and now we will have AI that will create for us, that will even write novels and poetry, that will design for us, analyze, predict the results, and even make decisions for us. And this has delegated a lot of our mental work to these IT tools. We have become so dependent on those tools. So if I asked you to write an essay, here and now, you will jump straight to your AI tool, your generative AI tool, and maybe within seconds you will have first draft. Maybe you will tweak it, edit some sentences, and then deliver it in a few minutes as a ready to publish essay. Now, what happens if I asked you for the same task and asked you not to use any tools? You'll find the basic task that we used to do happily is now daunting because we have not gotten used to exercising our ability to create and write because of our dependence on AI tools. To prove this, MIT conducted research involving 54 participants divided into 3 groups. They asked the first group, they asked all the groups to write an essay, and they allowed the first group to use ChatGPT specifically. The second group was allowed to use Google search. The third group, however, was not allowed to use any tools. And the results were striking. To get the results, they were monitoring their brain activity using EEG scanners that scan brain activity. And the results of the brain activity scanners was striking. The people who used ChatGPT had only 40% brain activity, as you can see in the picture. 40% brain activity could hardly excite your neurons to do a job that you delegate to an AI tool. Now, this is a dangerous path. But let's draw a parallel. We, as humanity, if you look at the history of humanity, we have thrived, survived and thrived through using our mental power, our intellectual capacity to extend our physical power. We have used our mental capacity to build tools that allowed us to be efficient hunters, efficient farmers, and efficient builders. Come the second industrial revolution, we had already established and developed machines that will not only be used as a tool for one task, but will take a number of tasks in a systematic manner and take it end to end, thereby delegating almost all our physical activity to create that particular product to a physical or mechanical machine. We very quickly realized that we are getting sick, we're getting lazy, physically incapable, and to compensate for that, we came up with the concept of physical exercise gym, a voluntary type of workout that we do in order to compensate for the lack of physical activity at the workplace, because we don't have to hunt, farm, or build on our own without the help of tools. Those tools at the gym give us resistance, and we all know that only through the resistance we can grow. Considering how lazy our minds have become as a result of delegating our tasks, mental tasks, to AI, I'm advocating for what I call the mental gym. So if we're not going to exercise our our brains, to do the work that we're asked to do at school, at university, or at work, then we must go to a place or use tools that will invoke curiosity, invoke imagination, allow us to question, to analyze, to predict, and to decide. This we need to do to compensate for all these activities that we used to do on our own and now we have delegated to AI. This is not a one-person's job. And just like any physical gym that you go to, the mental gym, the way I see it, will include a number of tools, just like the gym machines. Each one will exercise part of your brain to make sure that your brain is fit and ready for the next stage of humanity development. In this picture, I show that this is not a single individual's or a group of individuals' responsibility. It is the collective responsibility of humanity, starting with individuals, groups, and the total society. This means that it starts with parents, moving to school, university, the workplace. These tools must allow us to continue to exercise our neural activity, must allow us to continue to reason, to continue to innovate, and to continue to develop humanity. If we look at the example of the physical gym, it is voluntary. I believe volunteering to do something physically tough is not harder than volunteering to do something that's mentally challenging. However, the tools have to be available. As we have seen, the tools of physical exercises have improved over the years. Now, these tools must be available to all in the same way that AI tools are now available to all of us. If we want technology to help grow the potential of humans instead of shrinking it, we need to continue to keep our minds fit. For the future is not for machines. The future is for humans who keep their minds, brains fit. Technology, ladies and gentlemen, I believe should be used to improve our collaboration. Like in the groups I talked about in the beginning, collaborating to advance AI, we should collaborate to keep ourselves ahead of technology. That is what I believe is the true promise of AI, not to take away our humanity, rather to remind us of its value. Thank you.